Let's see. I am gonna go live here. Okay. All right, guys. Well, hey, everybody. We're live on YouTube, the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast, uncensored. We're here with Fig Heel. We're gonna.
What's going on?
Oh man, happy holidays, dude. How you been, man?
Great, great. Happy holidays, man. Most wonderful time of the year.
I
It's fig
know.
season.
Fig season. I know. And here, what I usually like to go on YouTube just to make sure everything is sounding okay, really quickly. So, everybody's like, "Oh, you're such a newbie" and all this stuff. Guys, I just want to make sure everything is is legit. It's working.
Dude, listen. I've been to concerts and events of the highest profile names in comedy, music, and they don't have their sound perfect until like 3 or 4 songs in. So you're good. You're not a noob.
Exactly. And everybody sounds great right now, and that's what I'm talking about. Well, I just wanted to thank you, Mike Figheel, for coming on, obviously uncensored today. I know you're short for time, you're pressed for time. We're just going to have a lot of fun here. This
Yeah,
is
man.
really unscripted. You do a lot on YouTube, so, hopefully we can get some people in here. Hopefully we can have some fun. I just want to quickly shout out to all our followers on Instagram at the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast because we just hit 3,000 followers, which I couldn't believe we just jumped and skyrocketed, and we're giving away that Macho Man, that SDCC Macho Man. So thank you
I
guys
saw
out there, man.
I saw that, man. Congratulations. And the one thing is like once you start getting to a certain point, it really starts snowballing.
Yep.
I always tell people that first like 1,000, 2,000, it's a hustle. It's a hustle. But once you get it, people start, oh, this guy might be legit. Maybe I should follow him. And it starts snowballing from there.
Yeah, and we talked in the past about this. I mean, I've slid into your DMs and I've
Oh, yeah.
talked to should I buy should I go organic? And
No,
you were like, just do it organically, man. Don't buy the shit.
no.
Just do it the way the way you're supposed to do it. Hustle.
Yeah. And it means more, doesn't it?
Excuse me. Hell yeah, it means a lot more.
Yeah.
It feels good. I'm just happy that everybody is enjoying the content that I'm providing. We're providing them right now. And yeah, we'll see where it leads. I mean, we're gonna do this stuff on YouTube a lot more. We're gonna throw in guests. I'm gonna keep the collector's corner for the podcast going. Have some really special guests like we just had Jeremy Padower on there. He was great. I
I
just
saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, man. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you listened to a little bit. It was such an educational experience with him,
Yeah.
learning about the industry. I mean, it was focused on AEW as well, but I mean, more again, educational wise rather than, hey, are you going to make this figure? Or, oh, hey, what's coming up next? You know what I'm saying?
I could listen to Jeremy talk about paint dry. So, I mean,
I know, right? And he went over the time. I mean, he was so gracious and he just like was on and on and on and on and
yeah.
he just did not care. So I want to just shout him out too and thank him once again. We did record video for that. I may put it on YouTube, but his stream was just like kind of in and out and it was choppy. So I don't know. Maybe not, maybe so. I don't know. But how you doing, man? What's up? What are you doing? How's the figure? I mean, geez, you pop up videos on YouTube like crazy. You put out your top 5 AEW figures just recently. You're doing your weekly purchases, all this stuff. How's it going there, man?
It's great, man. I'm trying to do regular programming. I'm trying to treat it like an actual channel and do some regular programming. So I was doing Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and now I'm sticking to Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday as far as releasing content to make it a little bit more regular. One of the videos, it was like Heels Deals, which was like a bunch of like Amazon deals. I'm moving that over to my Instagram page. I mean, sometimes when I think about like all the stuff that I'm putting out there, not to toot my own horn, but like I am doing so many posts a day across multiple social media platforms that like it's hard for me to keep track of everything. But I'm starting to get it down to a system of like planning everything out ahead of time. But yeah, so the top fives, the weekly purchases, just trying to keep it to things that I know people are interested in. I used to do weekly purchases and I used to call it something else. I used to call it Epic Mail Call.
Okay.
And it's crazy. I changed the name to weekly purchases just because it's just a common term in the community. And it started just getting way more views. So I was like, all right, I guess we'll call it weekly purchases. But I liked Epic Mail Call. I think that sounded awesome.
Yeah.
And I liked the idea of that, but it just didn't stick.
Yeah, well, it's like unboxes. Sometimes you just got to go with the basics, right? I mean, go
Yeah.
with the key buzzwords. You look at your analytics and everything, and you kind of go from there. I mean,
Yeah.
we haven't even gotten that far yet, and I know you're just buzzing over there. So, I mean, you know what you're doing. You know what the people love. You know what they want to see, and you just throw it at them, man. And I love that you have that schedule. Tune in,
Yeah.
guys. What'd you say? I forgot. What was that schedule again? That your post videos?
It's Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays.
And that's
Yep.
at Fig Heel on YouTube, right? .com?
Yeah. Yeah. And the Tuesday and Thursday stuff, it switches each week what it'll be, but a little bit of everything. There's one thing I really like that I do. It's called Random Wrestling Merch of the Month. And it's just every month I'll grab 5 real random pieces of wrestling merchandise and I'll just show them off and talk about them. Doesn't get a lot of views at all, but the people that do view it, like, friggin' love it. And
Yep.
I was gonna do away with it and stop doing it, but they were like, please just bring it back. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll keep doing it because I think it is cool. It just doesn't get views.
Yeah,
But
and look, we did the same thing with the podcast when we had that role in our segment. You'll never forget the name was kind of centered around that. So,
Yeah.
just obscure wrestling figure lines,
Yeah.
or a wrestling figure or a piece of merch or something, and people really loved it. They really got intrigued about it, and some liked it, some didn't. But like you said, you just got to give it to the people if they want it, man.
Man, you gotta throw shit at the wall, see what sticks. I did this other one that
Cowboy shit, baby.
Yeah, man. I did this one that I thought I loved and I thought it was funny. People didn't like it. It was called Why Did I Buy This? And it was like really stupid shit that I would buy, wrestling related, that like it was obscure and weird. And I thought it was cool, but people didn't care about it. So I just stopped doing it.
Yeah, and I just really want to go back to what you said prior. You moved some of the stuff over to the Instagram, like your Amazon stuff. Hey,
Yeah.
man, thank you, because I've been watching your story feed on Instagram, and I've been getting a lot of good stuff, and you're on point with that. I don't know what algorithm you're working with, or you're just a hawk on that Instagram or whatever, or Amazon. But thank you, because I got the Jericho. I got a ton of shit from there because of you.
I mean, it's a combination of things, but I do think a lot of times I'm one of the first people to post it, but sometimes I'm definitely in like the top 5 to post certain things just because I got so many things coming in and I have so many notifications and alerts on different things and affiliations in these different companies. So it definitely helps.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help people. And, like I posted something recently that's been up for a while. But people, I do get DMs, people asking me things like, hey, how am I going to get this figure?
Yep.
And so I'll post something that's been up and people are like, this has been up for a month. I'm like, yeah, it's not for you.
Yep.
Like that's the thing. Like not everything that I post is for you. It's not everything I post isn't everybody jumps on it and buys it right then. You can't expect every single person who follows you. I think I've 15,000, 16,000 followers. Like they're not all seeing every single post. I wish they were, but they're not.
Yep.
And so I can't expect like to only post something once like that, especially like, a high demand figure. It just,
yeah. And it goes, I mean, like everybody else has a notification that doesn't see your posts and then they buy it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, I mean, you guys got to be realistic with this whole thing. It's like, again, distribution problems and not people not knowing the logistics and the supply chain of these figures. And they're always yelling at the companies and yelling at the retailers and this, that, and the other thing. But when it comes down to it, there's a system in place. The system right now is effed, to be, you know, quite frank. And just believe us. I mean, you have heads of companies, Jeremy, Brian Flynn, me, I'm in logistics in another industry. Tell
yes,
y'all.
I know. Yep.
like guys, the figures will come. Be patient. And just like with Fig Heel, be patient. It'll pop up again. Now you have the link, save the link, and bam, just keep checking back.
Exactly. And I try to keep them in my link tree that's in my bio and stuff, just to help people. I'm literally just trying to help you get your things. You know how many times I see someone will DM me and they'll be like, oh, look at this figure I just got. I got it for this much on eBay. And I'm like, dude, it is literally on Amazon right now. Like, why aren't you checking for retail prices?
Yep. Preach patience here on the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast. But so you can go follow Fig Heel at Fig Heel on Instagram and Twitter, obviously. I'm not a big Twitter guy. Like Joe was handling the Twitter stuff. He kind of still is. I'm kind of filling in a little bit. But it is a whole other ball game on Twitter. And I'm just like,
I'm not a Twitter guy. I'm not a Twitter guy.
I know we are YouTube, Instagram guys, I think here. And but you also have on Instagram another page which I think is super fun, unreleased wrestling figs, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. What inspired you to kind of create that page? And I absolutely love it.
It's funny. I started, like, I've always been obviously a wrestling figure fan, but I've always been a fan of the stuff we never got. You know what I mean? I've always loved looking at pictures of unreleased wrestling figures online in message boards. Always loved it. I actually started unreleased wrestling figs before I started Fig Heel, and it honestly just started as an archive for me. It wasn't meant to be for other people to like really follow. It wasn't meant to get a following like it has, you know?
Yep.
And what actually happened was Matt Cardona, he found it. I'm talking like, I don't know what algorithm he's using, but he found the page within like, I only had like 10 followers. He was one of like the very first few, and DM'd me about something I posted that he hadn't seen before. And he like, I think he shared it to like a story or something. And all of a sudden they just came flooding in, you know?
Yep.
But like I said, initially it really wasn't intended for like a public forum. It was really, I always wanted all the unreleased wrestling figures to be in one place. I wanted there to be an archive, not for anybody else, for me selfishly, that I could just scroll through and check out, which even today I still go on my page and scroll through and just look at the stuff that never got released because I love it. I think it's awesome. There's like this mystery to it, the things that we just never got, but we're supposed to or intended to at one point. But yeah, it actually was not meant to be for the public.
That's crazy. Yeah. And I absolutely love it. And everybody has a story. I remember being a kid going into KB Toys in the 90s during the Hasbro run, and everybody, you heard about the tugboat,
Yep.
right? The tugboat was coming. And whether, I don't even know, I guess it was through magazines and stuff I was reading as a kid, and then just talking to like, I guess, shops, you know, like in comic book shops and KB Toys managers and all these people. And I remember I would go to the KB Toys with my mom in the mall, and I'd be like to the manager, come on, guys, where's this tugboat? Is it coming
Where's
in?
the tugboat?
Where's the tugboat? Like, come on, I want the tugboat, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, everybody has one of those stories. Doesn't matter what era you grew up in, and boom, you have it for everybody right there on that page that you can look and have fun and be nostalgic about.
Yep. It's funny you say that because mine was obviously, I mean, a lot of people's our age was the Rhythm and Blues Greg Valentine. And I actually, my dad would take me to the store all the time because he was a collector too of different things. And we were on the hunt for this Greg Valentine because we had all the Hasbros except for that one. And we're like, where is this figure? It got to the point where I actually sent a letter to Hasbro asking about it. And to this day, I'm still looking for it because it's in my house. They sent me a letter back. And I just would love to have this letter framed and displayed with my collection. They sent me a letter, and I remember they called me Master Michael, and I didn't understand what that meant. My dad had to explain it to me. And they like explained that, it's not coming out, but don't worry, there's going to be another Greg Valentine figure on the way. And it was signed by the guy. It was so cool. Like this typewritten letter that he signed. I am going to find it one day, and it's going to be like one of my grails that I display with my mint on card Hasbros. Yeah. That's something I'm on the hunt for. And I feel like, honestly, not that I would ever sell it, I feel like something like that, so specific to our niche, is something that people would probably want to pay money for.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it would definitely be. I mean, I would pay money for something like that, just like you said, to have it framed, to archive it. I mean, it's a museum piece, really.
It is. They're giving me details. And I mean, I'm sure there's other people who wrote them letters, but knowing my dad and knowing like my family, they still have it. They don't throw anything out.
Yeah.
So I know it's in the basement somewhere, and I'm going to find it.
You just got to go, through all that stuff. It's funny. I did that. I did a huge purge, I would say, like right after I graduated from college. And the one thing that I don't know what happened to, but I had my first ever, like when you used to go to a wrestling show back in the day, they used to give the printout paper cards, and then you would circle the winners on them and stuff if you were a kid and everything. And I have a ton of them. I still don't have the one that I went to in the Brendan Byrne Arena in the 1990s. It was my first. I have the program. I lost the dang card, and I'm looking for that, and I'm looking for that card, and yeah, I mean, someone's got to have one somewhere, but
yeah,
there were 20, not 15, 20,000 produced, but it's just those things that are so special. I thought another one was I lost my Survivor Series 1996 program, and
okay,
same thing as you. I'm looking, I didn't find it. Finally, years later, I'm just skimming through an old magazine. It's tucked away. It's just those things, and you have it. It's there, and maybe even I still have this program card. But
I'm sure awesome. You do.
Yeah,
things just get misplaced, and then it's like, where is it?
Exactly.
Especially when your parents keep everything, you know what I mean?
Oh, geez. I just went through a combined household thing, and my aunt and my uncle, I mean, God, they never threw anything away. I had 3 dumpsters in front of their house.
Yeah. Trust me, I know.
And I'm cleaning it out. But anyway, let's get back on. I love the Unreleased Wrestling Figs stuff. Now, I wanted to talk quickly a little bit about also how this kind of evolved into your publication, because now you're an author. You kind of took this Unreleased Wrestling thing and you're like, well, I love archiving stuff. I love doing all this stuff. Let me make a book about it. And now you got the figure checklist book out, right?
Yeah, well, it started with the Unreleased Wrestling figure coloring books. I started doing and that started because I made these art prints for my my figure room of 5 unreleased Hasbro figures, and I just thought they looked so cool. They were the unreleased Greg, Axe from the 2-pack with the clothesline action, Tugboat, Green Trunks Macho, and the Red Tights Brutus Beefcake. I made these 5 art pieces to hang up, and then I don't know how it came to my mind. I was like, I could probably do like a coloring book. So I created this coloring book of unreleased wrestling figures, and that did really well. And what it is like each page, there's like a full page coloring page, and then it has all the information about the unreleased figure, what line it was supposed to be in, what year it was supposed to come out, series, if it's known why it wasn't released, what it was, what makes it special. And it actually did really well. And I've done, I want to say 5 of them, 5 volumes of that. And then 2 years ago, I was trying to insure my collection, which I don't know if you have yours insured or not. You don't have to answer that, but I was looking into insuring my collection. And the way that, for people who don't know, the way that insurance works is that over a certain dollar amount, you need certain things. And in this case, the one that I went to is anything over $40,000 worth of collectibles. You need certain things. Like I needed this specific alarm system. I needed this specific fire alarm that would call the fire department. I would need surveillance on the room that it's kept in. Because of the value of it, I would need a full inventory. I was like, oh my God. So I went 2 years without this increased insurance, which I was like, oh, please don't let anything happen in the time it takes me to get all this inventory. So I created this inventory list organized of everything that I own. And then it came to my mind. I was like, how many other people need this? Yep. And it turns out a lot because I turned it into a book, The Ultimate Wrestling Figure Checklist. It's 500 pages and it touches on so much. And I've already added over 100 pages to it for an updated version that I'm going to put out next year. It's going to have more pictures and everything like that, because a lot of people who bought it, they're like, I love this. I wish there was more to look at. I wish there was more pictures. So that's on the way. But I was like, how many people, if I need this, other people need this, even if they're not insuring, even if they just want to keep track of things. And the big selling point is, listen, it took me 2 years to compile all this, doing the research, putting it all together, 2 years of my life. So that goes to show you, like, it's worth the value of what it is, because you're saving yourself so much time of organizing everything, putting it into different categories and organizing all the series by wrestler, mint on card, loose. Like, it's just, I think it's a great tool.
Yep.
if it doesn't fit your fancy, that's fine. But there's a lot of people who are very appreciative of it and really enjoy it and love the checklist.
Yeah, and look, you know, I have a Beckett. I have not got the checklist yet. I am going to buy one this holiday season. And the fun thing about it is, like you said, even if you're not using it for insured items, it's just a fun thing to have because you have that checklist. You know what you have. Like everybody knows what they have. They just need to look at it in print in front of them to be like, oh, I got that. Oh, I got that. Oh, no, I don't got that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't have to go through the 20. I mean, God, I have 50 to 70 bins in my basement of the shit I have mint on card. You know, like I know I have it. I know because I know what I collect. But
well, that's the problem with mint on card, man. It takes up so much space.
Oh,
I love mint on card. You know, like, but it does. It takes up so much space. So like, and you can't put everything on display. So I have the same thing, man. Bunch in storage.
Yep. Hashtag mint on card for life here at the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast. But you can see, I mean, I kind of have gone to the busted open, that route because I like the kind of blending of it all, right? Because some figures are just not going to be worth $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 20 years from now. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to have that mentality. My mentality is like from an investment perspective, I want to keep everything mint on card because then I'll get my highest return. Yeah. But you know, really only use that for the scarce stuff. Really scarce stuff, big names, what you think is going to be in demand in the future, you know?
Yep.
So that's kind of the approach I've taken, at least with my collection. Now, I still have, again, 50 to 70 bins down in my basement, but that's besides the point.
Absolutely. I get it, man. I get it, man.
I know. So let me ask you, anything fun this holiday season planned for the YouTube channel? Anything fun you're doing personally with your collection? Anything that Santa Claus is bringing to your Christmas tree for you?
I have no idea what Santa Claus is bringing to my tree, but I'm sure just because I mean everybody that knows me like on a personal level, they all know that I collect wrestling figures. And that's one thing that I always tell people. I say, like, listen, like, they're like, oh, how do you like tell a girl that you collect wrestling figures? Like, just tell them. Like, if you approach any situation in your life as if you think it's unacceptable, the other person's going to think it's unacceptable too. They're going, oh, there's something weird about this.
Yep.
But if you just like, it's not like, this is me. Like, you don't like it, that's fine. You can leave. That's fine.
Yeah.
I've never had a girl who's been like, oh, that's weird. Usually they're like, wow, I've never seen anything like this. And they have questions and stuff. They're not like, oh my God. But they're just like, wow, like you're dedicated to something. That's cool. Whatever. You have a hobby. So if you approach something in a way where you act like, oh, it's weird, please accept me for this, nobody's going to think it's weird. In fact, a lot of people, like my friends, pretty much all my family know that, like, I collect figures. Like, I get people texting me all the time, pictures. Like, there's even people that I work with who, like, she'll go to like Target with her kids and she'll snap a picture of the figure aisle, and she's like, hey, do you need anything? Do you want me to hide anything? Like, yep. If you let people know, you're going to have a much easier time collecting wrestling figures, and people are going to buy you stuff for Christmas. And it just makes it so much easier, to be honest with you. So like, I definitely will get figures for Christmas or wrestling items. Don't know what they are because I don't really like ask necessarily. My dad's really good at giving wrestling collectibles as gifts. He has a good idea what I have, but like, it's hard to know everything that I have. He's pretty good at finding cool items to give me every year. A couple years ago, I want to say 2 years ago, he got me a mint on card 1-2-3 Kid Hasbro for Christmas, and he got it like just in time. It was like right before they skyrocketed. Like, obviously it was expensive. He told me how much he spent. He spent $190 on it, which is like, man, at the time.
Oh man, I wish I could buy 5.
Yeah, right. Well, at the time, thinking, man, this guy, Dad, you didn't have to spend $200 on a figure, like, yep. Man. And then like literally in a year from then, it was like touching on $1,000. And I was like, Dad, you got this at the perfect time. Look what they go for now. And he was like, oh, I wish I got 2. But yeah, man, just like everybody's going to give me something wrestling related because that's what they associate me with. So I always tell people, don't be shy of telling people what you're into. Don't be. But for the YouTube channel, nothing too crazy. I kind of, my videos leading up to Christmas, because I celebrate Christmas, obviously, are revolving around Christmas. So I'm doing like my top 5 favorite wrestling Christmas items. I did my random wrestling merch of the month it's all Christmas holiday items, I should say, because it's not all Christmas. Things like that. Trying to stick to the format, but also make it a little bit more festive.
Yeah, seasonal. You want to, that's what we used to do with the podcast.
You
want to be seasonal. You want to talk Halloween, you want to talk about Undertaker and The Fiend and Halloween Havoc and all these beautiful things, because that's nostalgic. That's what we gravitate towards, so you kind of want to, like you said, be a little bit more seasonal there. Also, just want to remind everybody, if you are watching right now, chat. I got the chat right here. I don't think Figio can see the chat, but if you do chat, I'll shout it out. And yeah, we'll answer any of your questions. So feel free, chat along, ask us questions. And that's what we're here for on the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast Uncensored. One thing I did want to say is you said, yeah, you'll get whatever, people get me wrestling stuff. One thing in your collection right now that you don't have that you really, really, really want, and that you're just like either going to buy it for yourself, or if you were going to Santa Claus and sitting on his lap and you were like, oh, what do you want for Christmas? What would that be right now?
Oh, it's the Series 1 of 500 Cody figures. So.
You don't have that figure?
No.
Jesus.
Nope.
I'm surprised.
I just missed it when it went up on Ringside, and it's funny, my buddy Fig Vault, actually, he got one. And he offered it to me at $600. He was like, dude, they're going for this much. I'll sell it to you for 600. I was like, just sell it for what it's going for on eBay. I was like, they're going to drop. I was like, I'm not going to, blow my load early. Like I have no problem waiting for things. I said, they're going to drop in price. Just sell it, get as much as you can for it. And $600 at the time, it was a good price because they were not going for $600. So he cut a lot off, and we were having a conversation the other day. He was like, do you wish you paid that $600? I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. Because now I'm never going to buy it. I'm never going to buy it at the prices it's at. And things drop. I was trying to explain to somebody recently, things drop. But when everybody paid way more, it ain't going to drop that much. So when there's all these people who spent $1,500 to $2,000 on it, it's only going to go down so much because they're not going to take $1,000 loss on a figure. At that point, just keep it forever.
Yep.
So they're not going to go down to what I'm willing to pay. So, like I did see one at one point for $500 and it sold so fast. I want to say, was it you that got it for $500? $550?
Yeah, I did, and we were talking.
That was
about
you.
this.
Okay,
yeah,
I thought so.
Yeah, $5 and change or something like that, and I just needed to have it because of the Star Trek homage. And
that's why I want it. It's so cool. It's so different.
Yeah.
I saw that go up, and I clicked on the auction, and I was like, I'm going for it, and it was already gone. I couldn't remember if it was you or Pyramid who bought it, but yeah, it was you. Yeah, man, like that's what's something that eludes me. And it's probably always going to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, never say never.
Never say never, but
never.
I'm realistic.
These things are crazy. I mean, look, to pay $2,000 for a 1 of 500, when I paid $2,000 for that, I paid something around there for that 1 of 25 Ring Giants. Mm-hmm. Come on now. Like, let's be realistic, guys. Stop it. I mean, and we've had this discussion in the past. I went crazy. So I was lucky enough, doing well financially. You saw I went crazy here. So my most expensive figure in the case right now is the Andre the Giant at $5,500. So
which Andre?
The black card. So I got the black card right here, back here.
Oh, okay.
But that's black card, mid-on card, LJN, Andre the Giant. I paid 5,500 for that. My second most expensive item in the case right now would be probably the cards. So I got an sealed wax box 1985 Pro Wrestling Stars, Topps Pro Wrestling Stars sealed wax box. I got that for $3,000.
Wow. Yeah. See, like, here's the thing. What you're talking about, though, those are artifacts.
Yes.
Not just for wrestling figure collectors. Wrestling collectors in general would see that as an artifact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Me whipping out a 1 of 500 Cody Rhodes that I paid $2-3 for in 15 years isn't going to be viewed as an artifact necessarily. Yeah. You know what I mean? By people outside of wrestling figure collectors, because at this point, the market is so saturated with wrestling figures, past and present, that eventually it's really not going to show as much significance as that black card Andre. That is something that it's always going to be revered because it's one of the first, you know what I mean? It's like first lines of wrestling figures. So that there's a reason that LJNs continue to just have value and go up. They don't go down. Same thing with Hasbros. It's because it was still a new niche. It was still a new idea, you know? Now, like, oh my God, we've had so many wrestling figures that it's really hard to look at any of them outside of things like that, like the Warrior, 1 of 25. There's only 25 of them in the world. You know, I have a couple things that are like one of a kind or one of a very few. And those are things that, like, okay, you can't really put a price on that, right? Like you can't do that. But like it's all right.
It's what you're willing to pay at that point, right? Because I saw, like, you have the Rocky Maivia BCA prototype.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that is an amazing figure. I saw Rocky Maivia debut in the Garden, Survivor Series 96. I mean, that's something very special. I mean, like you said, I mean, somebody could pay $20,000 for that. You don't know. You know, I mean, you don't know.
And I got an insane deal on it. And at the time when I got it, BCAs, nobody gave a shit about BCAs. Nobody.
And they're coming back.
They're coming back. And here's the thing, like now, all wrestling figures, people are just interested in all wrestling figures, no matter what it is. And prices are going up. But at the time, nobody gave a shit. You could get any BCA at any point for like $5. Mint on card at like a swap meet or something like that. Like they were just, you couldn't get rid of them.
Yep.
And I got this great deal. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, how could I not get this? Okay. We're talking about, at the time I was like, he's like one of the biggest stars in the world now. And this is his first ever figure. Hand painted prototype in an alternate pose. I guess this is like one of the biggest stars. Now he is the biggest fucking star in the world. Like it really doesn't get bigger than The Rock. It doesn't matter what he does, it turns to gold. Like he just hits a home run every time just because of who he is. And he's going to probably go down in history as one of, if not the most famous professional wrestler of all time. And I know that's a controversial statement because of Hulk Hogan and how many years he was on top, but I'm talking mainstream success. Like he's such a recognizable person.
He's the highest growing actor right now. Yeah. He could be the highest grossing actor in the history of acting in movies when it's all said and done. And he may even make a presidential run. If he becomes president, forget about it. I mean, there's not that is realistic to say that he is literally what you just said, the best, I mean, of all time, as far as.
And I'm not trying to insult any other superstar because listen, The Rock isn't my favorite wrestler of all time, you know, but I'm just being realistic. Like he probably is the most famous of all time at this point, and it doesn't look like he's slowing down at any point.
Nope. And if he makes a return and he gets thrown into the Roman angle, which he should, because that's where it needs to go, and it's because it's the best story in professional wrestling, and God knows how, especially in WWE, and God knows how long. I mean, I'm all for it. You know.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you. Cross-generational. Jeremy talks about Pokemon, how it just Pokemon will never go down. It will
No.
never go down because there's always going to be kids that are buying it, that are invested in it, that are going to be
Same thing with
nostalgic
Star
about
Wars.
it. Star Wars is the same thing. These are IPs that just have a lifetime of just gold. I mean, like you said, and The Rock is in that category. And that's crazy to say one person is doing that, you know, not a franchise, you know.
I mean, if 10 years ago you told me he was going to be as famous as he is, I really wouldn't believe it.
Yep. I agree with you. So, okay, so you want that Cody. That Cody's a great figure. We all know that. There's a potential though. Don't sell it short, but there's a lot of undetermined. It's undetermined right now where Cody could be the next Rock. You don't know. I mean,
yeah.
AEW product's extremely young. It could fold in 10 years. It could be the best wrestling product in 10 years. You know, it could be bigger than the WWE multi-billion-dollar company. You don't know.
You don't.
So that's why I think when we talk about that Cody in that respect, you guys have to understand that there's just a lot to be determined right now.
Yep. And my whole thing that I'm saying is that, like, I just don't see it going to a price that I'm willing to pay for that figure, even though I do want it so much. Just because, like I said, now the market has created a ceiling, or not even a ceiling, I guess a floor, for how low this figure really can go because of how much the majority of people who own it have paid for it.
Yep.
So like I don't see it going very, very low. It's not going to go to, like, at this point, I'm sure you've tracked them all, the rares and chases, how much they've dropped. When they first come out, they're all selling for $750, $800. And then within a month, they're down to like $200, $150, $100. Like, if you just are patient, you can get them. Cody's a different story. It ain't going down to that price.
No, especially with and there's only 500 as opposed to 3,000 or what are they doing? 3,000 and 5,000?
5,000. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, of course, all these 5,000, like, you know, guys, don't pay more than like $150 for 200. I get in like at the $200 mark just to be like, okay, I've secured. I make sure I have a good box, all that stuff on a 5,000 and even a 3,000. Like, I don't pay more than $300 to $350 on a 3,000 right now. And that's high. I think I got a swagger because you can't. I don't know what happened to this. Not a swagger. God, Jake Hager. I got this Hager for $3 and change because where is it?
I just think it's the distribution of it is all wacky. I do think, not to say that like, you know, you wasted your money or anything. I'm just saying, I do think in like a month or two, we're going to see a little bit more of them, kind of like the way that they've all rolled out. Like, think about it. Just in the past month and a half, we've seen a ton more Darbys hit the store, a ton more Matt Hardys hit the store. When, like, for a while, Matt Hardy was going for like 12 to 1,500 because you didn't see them anywhere. Not many people got them, only people from ringside. I just think the distribution of the chases is a little wonky. And maybe they're working the kinks out, or maybe they don't really know how to organize the distribution or what the deal is, but it is a little off. So
yeah, I don't know.
I'm playing the waiting game on a lot of stuff.
I think you should. I think again, being patient is the way to go. The funniest thing you mentioned about that, I was talking to my manager at my local Target store. He knows me, and he said basically what happens in the summer months leading into the holiday, they're just storing pallets up in the rafters. And I think that's what happened with those waves. I think those waves either got in a Walmart or in a Target, are being stored in the rafters. Target does this, I think, more than Walmart does. But they just get wrap pallets, they throw them up there, and as you see, like you said, this holiday season go by, you're gonna see these Hagers come out. But look, I was just like, look at the Masters. The WWE Masters figures, Wave 7 was selling for that. The 4-figure wave was selling for $500, $600, $700, $800 on eBay. I was like, are you
insane?
I have the test shop prototypes. They freaking produced these. Guys, they produced them. They're in a boat.
I know, man. It's crazy.
Warehouse. Like, don't pay $600 for a wave of 4 figures. That's crazy.
Dude, but I mean, I don't know what these people do for a living. If you're willing to just blow it, whatever, man. Hey, more power to you. You know, like if I had more money, I would probably, just be like, all right, let me just get it out of the way and pay this. But probably not. But
No.
like I'm a very patient collector. You won't often see me post on social media, like Instagram or anything like that, about figures that I'm looking for. Because I found that I often will get the "you have a lot of followers, fuck you" price on things. And I don't play that. Like, I don't play the whole, like, oh, here, you have this many followers, so, and you're looking for it, and there's not on eBay right now, so here's a crazy, insane price for it. Nah, I don't play that game. Yeah. Listen, I will buy something for what it's worth, maybe a little bit more. But I'm not going to pay an astronomical price just because I'm looking for something. I'm not in a rush, and I know, not to be cocky, I know that I'm going to find what I'm looking for, because that's how diligent I am, and how much I look around, and how much I shop around, and keep my eye on different things, and make connections with different people. So I know I'm going to find things that I'm looking for. Yeah. So I stopped doing that because people just, I think, take advantage, which is what I think has happened I don't even like saying the scalper community. I don't like the word scalper, because you know what? They're just resellers. And the people who call them scalpers, if you had the opportunity to take a $15 figure and turn it into $600, are you going to sell it to somebody else for 15? No. You're going to be like, oh, I can get $600 for this here. Yeah, I'll sell it too. They're resellers. And it's like, either you give in to the resellers and pay the price of what it is in that moment, or you wait and see what you find in the store. It's we all have choices. We all have choices in life, and it's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do it for the channel's sake or for my Instagram's sake, but it's very rare I'll buy up to a point, like, for example, on a single figure that I know is going to be mass released, I'm not going to spend more than $50-$60 on it. No. And I know a guy like that'll find it, and he's a reseller, and I know he's got a daughter, he's divorced, all these things. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll help him out. I'm fortunate enough. I got a busy life. Sometimes I can't find these things. He finds stuff before I do. I'll support you. Boom. Here's a little more money. You know what I'm saying? Like, yep. I don't mind doing that sort of thing. But when it's, 5x, 10x times the price of what that is not the territory I'm going for. The channel, for you all. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen here. Yep. It's just not going to happen. It's not.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I 100% hear you. And you know what? Like I said, the people that are willing to pay those prices, more power to you. Like, I don't think you're an idiot for paying more because you wanted something the moment it came out. I don't think that, it's a negative thing. It's just, you were like if you're willing to pay that for the moment it comes out, like, man, like, good for you. Like, if you have it like that, like, good for you. I'm a waiter. I have no problem waiting.
Yep. Totally, man. So as far as, let me ask you this, anything that you've recently got, what are you liking right now from Mattel? What are you liking from Jazzwares? What are you liking retro wise? I know, gosh, with the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, I guess Super 7 figures just dropped, which was, they look great. So I don't know, right? I have them on pre-order, Big Bag Toy Store. Yep. I don't know what I'm going to do there. What are your thoughts on all that? Let's start with the Major Wrestling Figure podcast.
I have them on pre-order as well. I think they said that they're gonna be out to us in the new year. I don't think that we're getting them as soon as they got them, if I remember correctly. I would like to. I think it'd be cool to get them before Christmas time, but we'll see. I am looking forward to their Bendums as well. I think they're I love nostalgia. I do. I love anything nostalgia. And you know what? I've been a big fan since the beginning. I'm a big advocate for Cella Toys. I am. When everybody was shitting on the Nick Aldis, I knew what they had coming and improvements that they'd made and the things that they were working on. And I tried telling people, listen, this is a first trial figure.
Yep.
And I think it's pretty darn good for a company who's never produced a figure before. And that was their first one. Is it great? No, but I just saw the bigger picture. Like, it's only going to get better. And I think they were moving in the right direction. And now people are like, oh, I wish I got this figure. I wish I got this. Like, I am a big proponent for them. I think that they do good work, and I think it's only going to get better. And they're the ones that are doing the upcoming BCA line.
Crushing, yes, the bone crushing
action
with figure collections, which I love their YouTube channel. I mean, they do. I love their historical.
I was going to say the history of they do some cool stuff. I'm a big fan of the AEW line. I love it. I know a lot of people. It's not perfect, but again, I'm trying to explain to people, like, you got to see the bigger picture instead of looking at what you have right now. Look at the positives that they're doing and see how they improve on them, which they've improved on a lot of things that, people were, people, the chest and the abdomen are different colors. Okay. Well, they've improved that. People are like, oh, the skin tones, they fixed that. Oh, the likenesses, the heads. It's like, all right, those have been improved. Like, it's a brand new line. It's not going to be perfect from the get-go. I look back personally, and I love Mattel. I'm not trying to shit on Mattel, but the early elites are not at the caliber that the current elites are at. They're not. I don't care what anybody says.
Yep.
And why is that? Because you have to start somewhere, and you have to move forward and make improvements. That's just how everything works. Original BCAs, first line was not nearly what the end line was.
Yep. And
you can say that about every line that there possibly is. Even LJNs. The first line does not look as detailed as the last line. That's just what happens. You have to improve. You have to, put something out, see what people say, see what people like, and continue to improve it. I do think the AEW line is going to be a high profile line outside of what it already is, because they're going to continue to improve it.
Yeah. And they're going to have an opportunity also to create things from a new product. It's just going to be organically done. And I agree. Joseph Kelly, what's up, brother? Thank you so much for the clap, the hello. They're dumbing down the belts, he's saying. I guess he's referring to the AEW line dumbing down the belts. I guess so. Again, as Fig Hill just said, I think just wait. I think the first belts, the paint apps were terrible on them. They have started to improve upon that. I do think the Darby Allin TNT tab is a little too big as well.
It's huge.
Yeah, they're going to improve on that, guys. Just give them some time.
That's the thing. If in a year we're in the exact same place, it's a different story. But I think that the wrong approach, and it's an understandable approach, is comparing this new figure line that's only a year old to Mattel, who I still agree, even though it's not my favorite thing to collect right now, I still agree Mattel figures are the best wrestling figure line of all time. Like, just as far as detail, articulation, how much they look like the person they're supposed to. I think the work that they do, top of the line, best.
Yeah.
So comparing it to Mattel's, who have been in the market for going on 12 years now, producing these figures, being able to perfect them over 12 years, I think that's a wrong approach to compare them, because obviously Mattel's is going to be better because they know their niche. They know, what they want to do. It's a hard thing to compare.
They have the experience. I agree. It's extremely hard to compare. And not only that, I think even if you did want to compare, you got to look long-term at it. And you have to put the AEW figure up there, and you got to look at the value of the AEW figure. And we talked about this with Jeremy Padawara on our podcast interview. The value of these figures are incredible. You're getting ratcheted joints, you're getting premium accessories and premium deco and everything like that. Aside from the skin tones and maybe a belt not being as large or not as detailed or etched as the Mattel counterpoint, again, they're going to make those improvements over time, but the value for $19.99, $21.99, and you're getting all this and beautiful packaging, and oh my God, it's just incredible. I just don't see that value in an Elite right now. I do in some areas, but the cost and how they spread it out, the cost over a line, some figures you're going to get less, and it's not going to be as good, and some figures you're going to get more. I feel that the AEW lines, you could see that they do that, but they try, Jungle Boy being an example. You didn't get much with that Jungle Boy figure in that line,
Yeah, what do you need, though? What do you need with Jungle Boy?
You don't. That's the thing. Yeah. And they did it in that area. They're like, okay, well, we can give him less instead of taking things away because he just doesn't have a lot. But anyway, so getting back to my original point, the value I believe in the AEW line is incredible. And as Jeremy said, they're not going to go up in price. Now, going back to what you said about Mattel real quick too, I find the Mattel figures, though, I think it's just they've been around too long. Like, they're really exhausting the possibilities, right? I mean, they're going into uncharted waters here with the Goon and Zodiac for collectors, editions and all this stuff. So, I mean, it's like, how much can you do? You're going to revamp everything. You're going to throw Ultimate Editions at everybody now because, if you missed the Warrior WrestleMania 6, now you're going to get them an Ultimate Edition. You're going to get a lot of rehashes. They're going to be better, like you said, because they've improved over time. But at the same time, it's a little watered down with the selection and everything.
I think that has a lot to do with why I say Mattel isn't my favorite line to collect right now.
Yep.
I mean, right now, I collect first time in the line figures and legends. A lot of the first time in the line guys come from NXT, and full disclosure, I don't watch NXT. I really don't.
Especially not now.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't. Like, so I know of the guys, but I don't really know their work, So a lot of times, like, okay, Jake Atlas, cool, got it, checked it off the list, goes on the rack. So I really, as far as the WWE line, I take pride and I enjoy collecting the legends, but I really feel like, kind of like you said, I mean, where do we go from here? We've done all of the iconic versions of pretty much every big name superstar, so like I saw a leak recently of like an upcoming Ultimate Warrior, and it's such an obscure warrior.
Oh, I know.
The what I'm talking about with the Lawler.
Yes.
And like, it's like, all right, that's cool, but did we need it?
Exactly.
It's cool.
Like,
it's different.
Remember when the Warrior
I never would have expected it
and did that Spanish match? Like, what is that going to be the next one?
Yeah, and like, I'm not trash talking, but I understand what you're saying. That it's like, all right, like, yeah, we've been doing this for so long. Like, what do we do now? And I think that has a lot to do with why we're starting to see some recycled attires and quote unquote re-releases and upgrades or whatever you want to call them in certain ways, because it's like, the people in Legends deals, we're losing people, by the month. And it's like, well, who do we do now?
Exactly.
And we're firing people left and right. Who do we do now? I think that is a big obstacle for them, which I think they'll overcome it. They'll figure around it, because they always do something that kind of that just reels me back in. You know what I mean? Like
superstars. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, that's the general direction now, right? Create every single person you can possibly think of in a Remco style.
I am a big Hasbro retro fan, and even though retros are coming back, I am way more excited for these superstar figures, because I just think it's not that it's never been done, because obviously it's modeled after Remco's. It's never been done in the sense of recreating the Remco's like this, and I think it's going to be really cool. Really exciting. I just hope that other collectors respect it enough or appreciate enough to want to buy it. That would be my only worry. Like, I think that, and maybe this was the plan all along, I don't know, but I think that doing the Masters of the Universe WWE line was a very, very safe play, because it marketed to two different niche collectors, wrestling figure collectors and Motu collectors, who, a lot of them, man, they'll buy everything. Don't matter what it is, they will buy it up. So it was very safe. This, it's like, I mean, I know so many collectors who have some Remco figures, and they're like, I have them just because I got them for cheap, or, I have them just because I collect all Ric Flair figures, or Legion of Doom, Road Warriors. Like, I'm just worried that people are going to be like, I don't really need to update my Remco collection, which, obviously it's not identical to Remco's, but that's what it's paying homage to. So I really hope that people appreciate it, because I do think we could get some really cool figures out of it. And the carding on it, I don't know how anybody could open them. I think they look gorgeous on the card.
I agree with everything you just said. And look, even if you wanted to just continue your Masters line, right? And you were a collector of that line, but didn't display any of the figures with the Motu stuff, skins on them, let's say.
Yeah.
You could still now continue to collect this line in a 100% pure wrestling way, which is, I think, most attractive. And that's what makes me excited about it. I agree with you. The NXT stuff, I'm not buying anymore. I don't WWE. I mean, I got a Roman Reigns and a Kushida on my desk, and that's Kushida on the NXT. I got the Mysterio because it was paying homage to the ECW attire. You know, I'll do that, but other than that, guys, and I'll get the Legends if it's unique or if it's fun.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely needed it, Joseph. Totally, man. Thanks for chiming in as well. But I agree with you.
What did he say?
He said absolutely needed it. I think he's talking about the Switch, but I'm not sure.
Probably switch from Motu to Superstars, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, yes, they did need it because they need to do something with this license. I mean, again, the product isn't good. I'm not invested in it. As a collector, I don't want to buy the stuff that they're currently doing. They don't do a lot of exclusives. I mean, come on, let's be realistic. I've been on them about trying to get, like, come on. Do 2 a year at least, not just an SDCC exclusive.
Yeah.
I want scarce items. I want stuff that's tough to find. I want a Slaughter or another figure like that Slaughter to come out. And it just seems they don't want to listen to fans. And it's funny, the ring I found was a perfect example of that. You gave us a new generation ring, which I really was like, to start.
Yeah.
And then when they added everything on, I was like, okay, great. I'll buy it. Give it to me all day long, then. Especially with the Macho,
I mean, I was very vocal from the beginning that I did not. I'm not a ring displayer. I'm not a fig photographer. I don't need that ring. I only wanted the figures, and so at first, like, I waited a couple of days, and I bought in because I was like, listen, like, I understand, like, it's kind of my duty in the fig community. Like, a lot of people come to me, ask me my opinions, or they might see, like, oh, did you buy it? And they might base whether or not they get it off of whether I do, because I got that question so many times. So I was like, I feel like, I felt like it was just, I was doing my part in the community. I ended up getting 2. But
I got 4, and I ended up getting 2 myself, and my girlfriend got 2. And I didn't even know she got 2, but she's a huge Macho mark. So she's just like, I bought 2, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Okay.
So initially, from the beginning, it went from I really don't think I'm going to get this to a couple days in. All right, I'll order one because I feel like I have to the end. I was like, I'm getting 2, and you know what? I'm happy that I did, because I do think that since we're getting everything, I do think it's a good value. No matter what anybody says, I think it's a good value of what we're getting for the price. Especially since, we're seeing prices of everything go up. I do think it's a good price of what we got. And I do think that things like that, over time, are going to hold on to some value. I do. I think people are going to be very up in arms when next August comes and they're unable to sell it on eBay. But when people say you're going to be able to resell this, we don't mean next August when everybody starts shipping, because I'm talking long term. Like, there's certain things that come and you have to sit on them. There's other things, like we were talking about, the Masters Universe Series 7. Those are things that come out, and if you're a reseller, you sell it immediately. And that's when you're going to get your top dollar. Or like these chases, as time goes on, they're going to go down in price. Things like this, it's a long-term investment, which I think Matt was saying, Matt Cardona was saying the same thing. Like, this is a long-term investment. This isn't something you're going to get a return on immediately.
Yep, I agree.
Which I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of people are going to be very surprised next August when they don't get that return immediately. But
of course, because they're going to have the pre-order up on eBay in June, July. And and all this stuff for 1,000, 2,000, whatever the heck they want to sell for. But no, I agree with you. And really quickly, I know you got to go. You only have about an hour, and
I got a couple minutes. You're good.
Okay, good. Cella Toys, you did mention them, and I know this is a phenomenon now with the bone crushing. You have Zombie Sailor Toys, retro style. You said you weren't a fan of the Mattel retro. I am with you there. I don't like the selection for this.
No, I am. I am a fan. I am a fan. It's not like I'm more looking forward to the superstars. I am a fan of the Mattel Retro.
Okay.
I don't think that it is as good of a line paying homage to Hasbros as a lot of people want to make it out to be.
Okay.
But I do like the line. I do appreciate it. And I am glad it's back. But I don't think that it is as Hasbro savvy as a lot of people want to make it out to be.
I agree with that sentiment. I like that it's there. I don't like the reintroduction. I'm not a fan of it at all. I don't like the selection at all.
You mean the ones coming up?
Yeah, and I will buy them, obviously, because you're getting the Piper, the T, the Mean Gene, and is that the three? Or is there
Orton?
Orton. Mm-hmm. I don't need a Orton. I probably don't even need a T. I'd take the Mean Gene and the Piper and do away with the rest. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. No, I mean, listen, I feel the exact same way. I think it's cool we're getting Mr. T. However, his time in the WWF was prior to actual Hasbro. So if it wasn't a WWE product, so let me explain. So my thing with Zombie Sailor Toys is because there's so many figures coming out from all different places. My rule with Zombie Sailor Toys is I'm only buying Hasbro era guys.
Cool.
That's my thing. Hasbro era guys, and I'll also buy the Nick Gage, but that's for personal reasons. He's from around here. I've had multiple interactions with him, and the owner of the company used to work for. So I that's more like a personal reason that I'm going to buy his. But everybody else, I'm sticking to Hasbro era guys. So my thing, what I'm getting at is if Zombie Sailor Toys put out a Mr. T retro, I wouldn't buy it.
Yep.
Is what I'm saying. But since it's a WWE product, and I mean, it's a 4-pack anyway, but if it was individual, I would buy it anyway, just because it would complete my WWE retro collection.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I approach the Zombie Sailor Toys thing where it has to be ECW because I want a ECW retro collection.
Yeah.
I'm a big ECW guy. And it also has to be, like you said, like Jeff Jarrett, in that Hasbro era never produced.
Yes.
So I'm with you there, 100%.
So the figures that I got Dino Bravo, and I got Dino Bravo, Earl Hebner, and Jeff Jarrett.
Got you.
I
passed on the Dino because all you people out there that want that Dino, I'm not supporting it. It's a little fun thing. I just, if you listen to the podcast regular, you would know.
Okay, all right.
But no, I got nothing against Dino.
No, I mean, like, I think that I like how it looks. Initially, great. I didn't. Yeah. Full disclosure, I did not. I thought that the head was extremely big. I mean, it's still a little big, but I think he had a big head to begin with. Yeah. But yeah, those are the three that I'm sticking to. I think all the figures look incredible. Yeah. And I really hope the final versions look just as incredible as the prototypes and all that, which, like, you never know. You never know what it's going to look like. Yeah. I really hope they do. But I just can't buy every figure that comes out because we're getting way too sick. We're getting way too sick with how many people are producing great stuff. And me not buying it doesn't mean that Zombie's not putting out some top quality shit. Does not mean that. It just means I have to pick and choose. And I think that is a big problem in the community right now. There's so many people. AEW started, I'm going to buy them all. I was one of them. I'm going to buy them all. Couldn't get the Cody. And I was immediately like, I think I'm done. I think I'm not going to collect it anymore. And then like my boy Figval was like, just because of one figure, you're not going to collect it anymore. Like, what am I taking my ball and running home? Like, listen, with so much stuff coming out, you can't possibly be like, I'm going to collect every figure from every line that every company is making, because I mean, you're going to live in a box with all these figures, because there's so much stuff being produced right now that you're going to have to pick and choose. And that's okay. I know it's like a little bit of an OCD thing. We all want to be completists. Yep. In a perfect world, we would probably all be completists and just have everything in a bin somewhere. But you can't be a completist of everything. And I think that's okay. And I think this whole new generation of wrestling figure collecting, I think a lot of people are going to be humbled to that and realize it's okay to pick and choose. It's okay for me to cherry pick 3 figures from this series and then wait until another one comes out.
Yeah, you're gonna, and even with a lot of, like, guys, don't be afraid to. It's not supporting. You're still supporting by buying Zombie Sailor Sabu or Earl Hebner or whatever. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he understands that certain figures in those waves will sell more than others. It's obvious, you know. It's just by name and notoriety and just people liking the person, you know. So
yeah. And listen, like kind of like you said with the Zombie Sailor, you're sticking to the ECW guys. My buddy Fig Vault, his rule is he's going to pretty much get all the ECW guys because he doesn't have like the original San Francisco Toy Makers ECW figures. And so he's going to create an ECW collection off of these. And I think that's a great idea. I think it's great. I think they look incredible. Yep. I already have the original San Francisco Toy Makers. I have Sabu figures from ECW, TNA, WWE. You know what I mean? Like, do I need a Zombie Sailor Sabu? It looks great, but do I need it? No, I don't think I do. You know, I have Mike Awesome's WCW. I have his ECW figure. Do I need a Mike Awesome Zombie Sailor? I don't think I do.
I do because I'm insane.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You determine that that's going to be your collection.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And now listen, I'm sure people are going to comment like, oh, you say that now until like a year and a half from now. And,
it may be in the collection, guys. We always change, right?
Yes. And you know what? That's part of the game. And maybe in a year and a half, they're going to put out a fucking 911 figure. And I'm like, damn it. Now I got to get all the ECW guys. And guess what? I'm up shit's creek because I'm going to have to pay top dollar for them at that point.
Yeah.
But that's a risk I'm willing to take right now because there is so much coming out and it's all great stuff. If you ask me, I'm a huge, huge fan of all of these independent designers, you know, really taking a bet on themselves and taking a chance and putting out their own line. I think that is commendable. I think it's great. I absolutely support it. Listen, like Junk Shop Dog, I don't collect Popies and I haven't bought any of his figures, but I think it's great what he's doing. Yep. And I really commend him on it. Initially I was going to get the Brody, but I was like, listen, I'm realistic. I'm never going to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Hulk Hogan. So, you know, do I really just need a lone Bruiser Brody in my collection? For me, no, I didn't. So I just backed off, but I think they're great looking figures. And I really think he's onto something. If you, it doesn't matter what era of wrestling you collect, whether it's Remco's, they're coming back out. Whether it's Popies, they're being remade. Hasbros, they're being updated. I should say, not remade, but updated. Everything, Bendums, BCAs. It's like whatever you grew up on, you could expand that collection now, and I think that is great. Yes. I mean, look, LJNs. I mean, not that the AEW LJNs are like the originals, but people are trying, is what I'm saying. And I just think it's a great time.
I think you're right. It's a great time for wrestling figure collecting. The LJNs are more like OSFTMs for the AEW in my eyes, but that's another
like
story.
And like the classic superstar ones, they're very similar. Like,
more.
But I mean, it's Jeremy, like it's.
Yeah, I mean, I have Cody with my LJNs. I mean, it's definitely more OSFTM, but
Oh yeah. 100%.
But it's a great time for wrestling figure collecting. My thing, and I'm a future guy, when the dust settles, who's still sticking around? And I think Jeremy touched upon this. Like, it's a great thing as well, but who's going to have a legitimate product? Who's going to have a consistent legitimate product? Who's going to, like you said, improve over time with their product? And when the dust settles, who ends up being on top? And then maybe one of these other toy companies are actually eyeing them and like, oh man, there's something here, right? And then they're like, I have to get a piece of that pie. And then maybe it makes them innovate what they're doing in their business strategy, and you get something even better then. So it is a fun time in wrestling figure collecting.
I agree.
There's a lot to collect out there. Yeah, man. I think you got to get going.
I'm getting to that point, but I mean, if you have anything else you want to ask, I'm definitely here, man.
Yeah, I'm here too, man. If you want to ask me anything, let me know.
Listen, like I enjoyed the conversation. I just think that, I'm notoriously, when it comes to wrestling figures, I'm notoriously positive and probably overly positive, but I just appreciate the work that everybody's doing.
Yeah.
When people are dumping on a AEW pack figure, I'm like, I mean, I like it. I do. I'm sorry. I like it. People are, I think people search for negatives in wrestling figures, and I don't think that's what we should be doing. You have to remember, like, somebody's putting hours and hours and hours of their life's work into these things. If you don't like it, that's okay. But I mean, if I post a picture of something that I bought, that I like, that I appreciate, I think I think it's kind of like a douchey thing to do, to be like, that sucks. Looks like shit. Like, I just think, like, it's like, well, I don't think it does because I bought it, like.
I think
we all choose what we pay.
You have to be constructive, right?
Yeah,
You have to be like, well, okay, it looks like shit. Why do you think this looks like shit? What are the actual flaws to you that you're seeing that maybe I'm not seeing? And then you change my perspective, right?
Yeah. And like, my thing is like, well, I can't design a figure this good, so I think it's good. Like, I just appreciate the art of wrestling figures and always have. I'm a lifelong collector. My entire life, that's what I've been into. As a child, I loved wrestling figures. That's what I was into. As an adult, I have wrestling figures, and that's what I'm into. I love them. I appreciate the evolution. I appreciate the art. I appreciate everything about them. So it's hard for me to, like, occasionally is there figures that I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. Yes, but the majority of the time, like, when people see things negative, I just, like, I can look past that because I like this, or I like the gear that it's in, or, man, they really nailed it with these accessories.
Oh, wait, you're talking about the WrestleMania Mick Foley that came out like 2019? Yeah. Anybody who thought that figure looked good is a fucking idiot.
Listen, the head doesn't. It looks like a pug. Like, it doesn't. It's not. But you know what I liked about it? I liked the attire choices they used. Or the parts choice. I liked the way that they did the sweatpants. I liked that he had the shirt and the flannel. Yeah. So I picked it up. I got rid of the rest of yeah, I have it. I literally sold the rest of the set, and I kept that one because I was like, I can look past this head because he's got the bang bang hands. Like, it's just, I was like, aside from the head, which I know the head is probably the most important part of any wrestling figure because that's what determines the likeness. I was like, it's not too bad. I like what they did and what they went for. Do I wish it was a different head? Yeah, but I still like it, So, and I bought it.
And I think I'm more intrigued by who made that and who, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm more intrigued by the design process of that. Like, did Bill have a sick day and someone filled in and was like, oh, okay, we're going to throw that, you know what I'm saying? Or was it just like, we didn't have enough money to use a scan? And, that's what intrigues me, actually. Why did that happen,
Yes. I mean, I know from my own circle and people that I know that Bill does not design all of the elites.
Yes.
There's quite a few people who do freelance, and they don't work for Mattel, but Mattel calls them in. Hey, we're this figure and this tire is being designed. Can you work on it? And somebody else will put together the render and the design, and so it's not all Bill. So sometimes I think people like really attack him, like, oh, what was Bill thinking with this? And it's like, it might not have necessarily been Bill. Yeah. And like a lot of that information isn't known publicly who exactly designed each one. But like you said, like you start to wonder, like, who did this?
Yeah, and who signs off on it, right? And it's like, like, damn, that looks fucking bad. But again, there's deadlines, right? And that need to be met. And it's just like, you can't, it's like, okay, now we're going to redesign this. No. Yeah. Or now it gets moved to another line. No. And Target's expecting this, or your retail partnership, if it's an exclusive, which these are, WrestleMania are exclusive. I think it was to Target, but they're depending on it to reach retail at a certain time frame. And you can't just like be like, oh shit, this guy really effed up.
Yeah.
Trashing it. Start from anew. No, it can't be done like that,
Yeah, and sometimes, sometimes things probably are approved without really being looked at. I mean, when you think about how much merchandise, and I'm not talking figures, I'm talking how much merchandise is produced for WWE. You know, there's people in a department who approve these designs. Like when you have thousands, and that's legitimate, thousands of different pieces of merchandise coming through. Are we really looking at it with a fine-tooth comb every single thing? I really don't think that they are.
No, they can't be. They can't be. You know, it's like the signing of the paperwork, right? Okay, I'm just going to sign this, go.
And I don't know this for a fact, but my belief personally is just like, you know, we know that like there's certain words they don't want them to use in wrestling, in WWE.
WWE, yeah.
I'm sure that there's a list of like things that they don't want out on the market. And that's probably all that they look for, to be honest with you. I don't think that there's some woman at a desk who's like, oh, let me look at this Mick Foley head and see if it really, really looks like him. She probably don't even know what Mick Foley looks like.
Yep.
It could just be like, we don't want ass on kids' toys. We don't want, you know, like there's certain things they're looking for. Is it on there? Nope. Good. Pass. Like, done. That's my theory. And I'm sticking to it.
All right. Well, one last thing before I let you go, Mike.
Yeah.
Fig Hill here at Fig Hill, Instagram and Twitter. I know you don't collect a lot of lines. You're outspoken about this because you are so wrestling focused. I know you got pops too, but they're wrestling, and that's an area where I do a little Mandalorian pop in Star Wars. I do a little, you know, like I get a Beetlejuice here and there or something special, like an exclusive, but it's something I really don't do. What line do you collect? A line that you just, you know, sometimes you pick up, you don't show it to anyone. Or if you don't, what line would you really collect that you're just like, oh my God, I want to collect this if I could just make some room for it?
Man, there's a couple. I would really like, I collect the South Park pops, but I would really like to, if I had the room, get into the Mezco South Park figures that they put out a couple years ago. What else? Oh, I would also really like the Simpsons World of Springfield figures. I started collecting them and I stopped because it's just so massive. I would love to have that whole set. I think it would be great, but I just don't have the real estate for it. Yeah. I'm big on colors.
That was like the Simpsons line. I don't know if that's the World of Springfield. Who did that? Was that Kenner? No, it wasn't Kenner.
Playmates.
Playmates did it. Yes. Yep. Okay. Would you do now Super Sevens rehashing some of that stuff? Would you do Super Seven? No. Okay.
No, because I think that they've already how many years am I going to have to wait to have the whole Simpsons family?
I love Super 7, but I get
too.
What you're saying. I
do too. Yeah. But you know, for me to have the primary family members, how long am I gonna have to wait?
Probably about 3 years.
So it's like, I'm out. I'm out. And you know, that's, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but like that's how we have to look at things certain ways. You know what I mean? I don't think.
And the price points are high too. Let's be realistic. I mean,
they are. So yeah, those are the two things that I really would like to collect. But those South Park Mezco, some of those are very expensive, but they're cool. And I'm a huge South Park fan, but I just don't have the place for them. I recently got into NECA Ultimates, the horror figures. I like them, but I'm really only getting one of each guy. And there's really, I don't need 7 Jason Voorhees. I don't need 5 Freddy Kruegers. So I have one of each, and I'm kind of done,
Yeah.
I collect Christmas Funko Pops, movie Funko Pops. It's funny. I'm trying to think. I'm stalling because I'm trying to think. I recently was talking to somebody about a line I would love to get into because I love the way it looks displayed, and I can't think of what it is.
Was it like an 80s line or retro line or something 90s or?
Okay. I don't remember, man. I don't remember. I think it's new. because somebody had it. I can't remember, man.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but I've always said I would like to have the World of Springfield figures. And again, like I'm big on colors, and I just think like cartoon figures, they really, really pop on a shelf and they look great.
Yeah. No, I have a smaller shelf like of 80s 90s mashup on my cases. It's funny, you see all this wrestling behind me here. On the other side of my room is completely non-wrestling. So that means I'm looking at Real Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe, Cops and Crooks, Silverhawks, Thundercats, Bionic 6, and then I have my mashup shelf where it's got like Over the Top, Voltron, Barnyard Commandos, A-Team, Gremlins, all this like fun little stuff. Like I have all of the do you remember the McDonald's changeables? Like they're the Transformers that came in Happy Meals. I have the entire set of the 2 series of them because they're colorful and fun. I have and then I have my like premium sideshow case and stuff like that, but it's mostly like Star Wars, Game of Thrones and stuff like that. And then Mesco and just a few things. Like I do love what Mesco
that
does
are nostalgic to you and your childhood and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. That are like, who the hell has like my Cops and Crooks are just like odd, like, but I love the freaking cartoon, and they're the first 6-inch figures. People don't realize that these Cops and Crooks figures are like the first 6-inch style, like.
I loved Cops and Crooks as a kid. I mean, like, and they came with the snaps that they would like. It would sound like gunfire,
gunfire. Yeah, they put it in the weapons, and you snap them because they had all metal. Like,
it's awesome.
So cool. It's such a cool line. I mean, it's like you said with colors too. They have the blues and the reds and this it's just an incredible line. I mean, but yeah. So no, I mean. I always like to ask that question because I know, like you said, we're just so overwhelmed by wrestling as wrestling figure collectors. It's like, what can you add,
Yes. I mean, I do like the Jurassic World line, especially like the new Amber collection. I think it's really cool.
It's really fun, yeah.
But yeah, I can't get into it. I gotta stay away.
I do get I love the so Transformers. I don't collect Transformers, but I love the crossover Transformers they're doing. So I get every they did the Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus with the car, and I got that because I just thought it was fun, Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yeah.
The I know what it was and before I go, but remember what it was now. I would love to get into reaction figures. That's what I was like. I just think that would be cool because. They're very nostalgic for me in the sense of, at one time we really only had 5 points of articulation.
5 POA, I love it. Yep.
So, I mean, that's what it was that I was talking to somebody about because I do think the reaction figures are cool. You know what the problem is? They're way too damn expensive. I can't justify the same price for an Elite for a 3 3/4 inch 5 point of articulation figure. I really can't justify it.
I know. Look, I can make the argument for it and against it. I do think it's a little bit overpriced, especially in the volume that they're currently doing.
Yes.
I think it's funny because it's scaled in a way where like TMNT and stuff should be like making up for, I don't know, some like really weird heavy metal guy or something. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why they're so high, to be honest with you, because they're spending so much on those obscure things, and they're not
trust me
as much. But anyway.
I know there's a reason. I know
the
that
economics. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just for me, I can't justify it. Like
what line of reaction would you collect? Would it just be a mismatch?
There's so many. I would want them all. I shouldn't say them all. Like I don't need, like you were talking about the metal bands. Like some of them I've never even heard of.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
maybe Major League, you would be into the baseball stuff. I don't know.
I mean, I think they're awesome. I love the what are they called? The mascot line. I love the Back to the Future. I think the TMNT ones are cool. The what's another one that I saw that I was like, wow, they're really cool.
I keep telling everybody
there's so many, man.
If you're going Back to the Future, you just have to go.
It's incredible.
Just get it. It's $200, $250.
It's incredible.
Get them. Screw the NECA stuff. I'm done. Like I'm just getting the Hot Toys Back to the Future stuff.
Dude, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like if you're a Back to the Future fan, you don't need to get any other figure than the Hot Toys stuff, and you save yourself money, right? Because think about it this way: if you purchase 3 Marty McFlys at $30 a pop or $35 a pop, you're already at $90. You throw in a Doc Brown or 2 and a Biff. I mean, you're spending $200 on a bunch of figures when you could spend $400 on 2. I mean, you really only need Doc and Marty. You know, like,
I agree. You know, man.
Like, so I mean, I don't know. That's my take on that. But yeah, I'm done with the NECA Back to the Future. I'm just gonna get Hot Toys.
Hey, man, it's a beautiful piece, man. I totally support it.
There you go. So anyway, thank you. Thank you so much, Mike,
you.
for coming on. Fig Heel. Tell everybody, obviously, where they can find you, all your social media platforms, and everything like that before you leave.
Instagram, TikTok, at Fig Heel. Fig Heel on YouTube, so youtube.com/FigHeel. ProWrestlingTees.com/Fig Heel. If you want to check out my books, the Ultimate Wrestling Figure Checklist or the Unreleased Wrestling Figure Coloring Books, you can go on Amazon.com and search Fig Heel. Just Fig Heel everywhere, man. You know, I locked it down to make sure that I had. I think I have a Twitch, but I've never gone on. I don't know how to use it, so don't look for me too hard on there. But
he's got it locked down though. Linktree that he's got a Linktree, I think it is.
Yeah. Instagram, and TikTok. You know, that's where I put a lot of cool stuff. So definitely check me out on there. And hey, man, maybe we'll do this again another time. So
yeah, we need.
Thanks for having me,
man. Yeah, we got to talk about pro wrestling too sometimes.
Yeah, man,
you're
definitely.
Very welcome. Thanks for coming on. You can find us Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast on Twitter and Instagram at SQD Circle AFP. Download the podcast episodes over on all major podcast platforms. And here our YouTube channel, Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast on YouTube. Give us a like, hit the subscribe button. Until next week, we'll see you. Remember, we're the gold standard, baby, and wrestling figure collecting.